Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of Your Next Move. This is season 2. I'm your host, Evantz Saint-Gerard, and my co host is
Dean Graber.
Also with Team NWE of Keller Realty Landmark. We have a special guest today, Kirk. Kirk, introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, I'm Kirk Simmon. I'm in the suburbs of Philadelphia with Remax, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Kirk, how long have you been in the business?
I've been in the business, it's my 17th year in the real estate business, 20 years in total working as an investor before I got in. So young, but I started when I was my early 20s.
All right, awesome. 20 or so years basically, you're still in love with the business.
Still in love with the business. Yep. Still love people. I mean, really, that's the game, right? So
Yes.
yeah, it's exciting.
All right, that being like Philly and New York are kind of, let's say, distant cousins. How are you seeing the market out? How about you? How are you seeing the market by you?
The market by us, well, we're in what they call the main line, which is kind of a fictitious area, but it's really just the Route 30 and the train line out of Philadelphia. The nation kind of knows us a little more nowadays because we have a wonderful basketball team that we've had for a long time called Villanova Wildcats, which I'm a huge fan of. But right now we're seeing in the suburbs, the mainline suburbs right outside of the city of Philadelphia, we have kind of a convergence of Delaware County, Chester County, Montgomery County, and they're kind of three sides of the same coin, if that makes sense. It just depends which direction you're going. But in any case, right now, mostly on the Chester County side, say right now what we're seeing in the marketplace is just extreme lack of inventory, which we're seeing in a lot of places in the country. Right now we have in the county, we have 809 homes for sale and 712 homes sold last month. And in the town where I live called Malvern, we had 265 sales last month and we have 60 homes on the market. So we have about 1 week's inventory.
Wait, say that number again, because I'm trying to do the math in my head here. That's 5-1 almost.
Yes, it's literally 265 closings last month and 65 homes on the market right now in Malvern, Pennsylvania.
Wow. So if you're a buyer at this point in time in your area, you better come prepared.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's kind of, we had a townhome development open up and the people lined up again and they had interest, hundreds and hundreds of people for 142 homes. It's crazy.
Okay. So the buyers,
we haven't seen that in like 15 years.
All right. So in order for the buyers to win a bid, basically they have to be prepared and they have to be working with the right people, obviously talented people, individuals who have connections basically throughout the industry and have a good reputation with other professionals such as yourself. So how can you navigate basically right now to purchase something in your area? And do you see people buying mostly houses to live or for vacation or for second homes?
So what I'm seeing a big trend on, let me start here. We are the suburbs of Philadelphia. We're the mid-Atlantic market, and the mid-Atlantic market just kind of goes like this. It never gets very aggressive, even with the price hikes, even when it's extreme low inventory like this. It doesn't go up 25% in a quarter like some places, some of the sand states. So actually, when you look at it, when you see the levels of education here and the levels of income, and then you see the house prices where they are strong, and Chester County is the wealthiest county in the state. They are still relatively cheap. So what we see here is a very even thing. Now, the great thing about living here is you can work for almost any Fortune 500 company has some kind of exposure here. I mean, you can work for Microsoft here, any one of the drug companies, they're huge here. Obviously, Wyeth was huge here as well. And Pfizer's here, everybody's here, Merck, you name it. So then Glaxo, I mean, you have eBay to, Saint-Gobain, which is in Malvern, and they're building materials, right? They're building materials. So, what we see generally here is we are a suburban kind of almost exurb kind of community. And then we have people that generally live here. Nobody really vacations here that
Okay.
much. And the big trend we're seeing right now is just the aging is happening here, the aging of the population. And some of these big homes are now being sold off to go to newer homes that are a little smaller, or luxury townhomes have been huge here. You can get a wonderful, luxury townhome brand new in Malvern for about 600 grand. So
How far is Malvern, let's say, from Philadelphia, from the city?
well, from the city, we have what they call the Turnpike, which is 76. From Malvern, you can get into the city with traffic, depending on the time of day, 45 minutes. We have 76 is also called the Schuylkill Expressway. It's a very old road. So it's 2 lanes coming through around kind of the mountains. If you look it up, it's pretty interesting. They call it the Schuylkill. But, it's can get very jammed. So it depends on what time of day you're going. But I mean, generally you can make it to the city in 30, 40 minutes. And also, a big draw here is King of Prussia. King of Prussia Mall is the second biggest mall in the country, and that's about 5-minute drive.
What could you find inside that mall besides regular stores? Is there anything like really
You
special?
can go to Old Navy,
Mhm.
stop in the food court, and then go down to Gucci. You could buy a Birkin bag there, and you could buy a taco. You could buy everything there. You could go in the Tesla store. You can go in the Apple store. I mean, you name it, they're there. So it's like high-end shopping all the way down to low end of, an Old Navy.
A little bit of everything, basically.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place.
It has everything that New York has, right? In a sense, like if you like the city feel, you would, I guess, would you have a similar feel in Philadelphia?
So when I look at New York and I think of you guys, if I was to compare like where I was compared to where you guys were, I kind of see where we live kind of more of a Long Island feel.
Okay.
As you get a little further out. But the Schuylkill Expressway versus the LIE is like, David and Goliath.
Okay.
Long Island Expressway is going to get much. It's not the same distance. It's not the same problem, if you will.
Okay.
So it has that feel. Long Island type feel.
All right. So let's talk about the affordability out in your area.
Mhm.
You mentioned a couple of new developments. What price ranges are those, and what can they get?
New development, single family homes, depending on if you're on postage stamp lot or if you're on half acre, you can basically build in our area a new construction home anywhere from single family homes, probably going to be 7s pretty easily, all the way up. Most of them fall, right at or right under 7 figures. So $1 million. And luxury townhomes, you can get in some new construction, pretty much anywhere from $500,000 to, we have townhomes that are $1 million townhomes as well. So, depending on the quality of the product, so our area is great because we have a lot of education. It's like almost, I think it's second to Boston as far as universities. There's a lot of universities around here. A lot of history, obviously, being in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So incomes and education levels are really, really high in this area. So, it's basically people come here for all the attributes of that in the public schools. And you can go to any public school in the county and it's phenomenal. They're all phenomenal. It's really a great place to live.
All right.
All right.
You guys are all sports fanatics there, right? I mean, I'm a New Yorker, so I know that it's like New York versus Boston or New York versus Philly, but there's always a Philly in there.
Well, since we brought it up, and since I have this in the background, let's talk about sports. What sports, besides the obvious, what sports basically are out in your area?
We got it all. It's Philadelphia. We got it all. We got the Flyers. We got the Sixers. We got the Eagles. They're awful. They're just awful right now.
I'm a Jet fan, so I don't know what awful means.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep quiet.
we've got the Phillies. They spend billions of dollars and still get nowhere. I don't know, but so we've got it all here, and then we've got obviously Big Five basketball. I mean, Big
Talk.
Five
Let's
basketball,
talk. Let's talk.
the Palestra, the history, LaSalle, Villanova, those games, St. Joe's, Drexel, and then we even have, University of Penn, with the Palestra, and, there's just a lot of, my big thing, I love college basketball. I love Villanova, obviously, and I'm a big Sixers fan. So beyond that,
If you're a sports fan, you're considering moving somewhere and you want to leave wherever, and you're thinking, I need to go to a place that has sports because I'm going to die if I don't have sports. Your area is definitely someplace they might want to consider.
But your baseball, football, basketball, and hockey are all in the same.
Yeah, like you drive down there and you can.
I don't know if it's still a,
Yeah, you drive down there and they're all right there.
That's
They're
kind of
all-
convenient.
after the other, right?
Yeah, because you got the Wells Fargo and then you got the Citibank, or not Citibank, Citizens Bank. Sorry, I'm looking at Citibank, but pre-approval. But yeah, so you got that there, and then of course Lincoln Financial Field, which is pretty spectacular. So we've got some good arenas. Well, with the exception of Wells Fargo Center, they did some reno on it, but it's junk.
All right. Well,
Sixers are phenomenal.
besides the Sixers and the rest of the sports in Philly, let's talk about the other amenities in the area. Tell us the best part about living in Philly.
The best part about living in Philadelphia and the Philadelphia suburbs, I think, if you're an art person, I mean, we have the Barnes collection. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
No, never.
Used to be on the main line. Now it's out. They moved it out to Philadelphia. That was a big controversy, but that is some of the finest art that you can see. And you should definitely Google that. And then you've got Wyeth had a lot of art here too, Andrew Wyeth. So that's a big popular area. We have horse farms. We have, country clubs that are historic. We have everything historic. I mean, what's really great at our parks and stuff, and Valley Forge Park is right up the road here. And, you can go all these places and see where they had all these revolutionary battles. You can go to inns and even a bank and certain places where, really famous people have been there or went there, like Benjamin Franklin and George Washington.
Okay.
I mean, you have the encampment at Valley Forge, phenomenal park. I mean, it's just the birthplace of America, and we've got hills and small roads. And small roads. So that feels like home,
So what would be important for a young family starting out, or someone starting out basically in their life? They might have been getting divorced, stuff like that. What would they find important in your area?
In our area, if you're coming in new, you're going to find what I believe and see, and obviously you have to decide for yourself, but wonderful, wonderful place for education, both, through the public schools, lots of tradition in prep schools and private schools here as well. And then of course, universities and colleges that are world-class. So generally the people that want to come here, they come here for college and stay. And
Right.
Even our state system, I mean, we have countless people that come from New Jersey and Delaware and whatnot. They come for our state system of higher education, and they wind up getting a really great job and staying here, corporate relocation in and out. So there's just everybody and everything. And of course, we also have world-class hospitals here as well.
Okay.
So it's really phenomenal. I mean, it's just, until you live somewhere else, you don't understand if you're missing some of those things, so I think it's a great area. I love it.
And what about for retirees?
Retirees, basically, you can come here and, a lot of people will retire here. It's kind of a place where you stay. It's not a very transitional, place. So basically, retirees either stay here or they may go somewhere else, but a lot of them actually stay.
But that says a lot about the city, because people, and the whole area, because people usually talk about retiring elsewhere for 20 years in advance. Like, one day I'm going to go to whatever that place is.
Yeah, so but pre-COVID, a lot of people 50s, 60s, 70s moving into the city. They were going down to the city and they've revitalized a ton of it. The whole areas around Temple and everything that used to just be run down. That all was a huge renaissance for years. So now people are coming and staying there. But then, post COVID, we have a lot of people that have come out of the city and are coming into the suburbs because they want to be able to have the parks and have the less congestion and everything. And I think we've all seen that. We'll see what it lasts, see what happens, right?
Well, being that we're going through the COVID situation as of right now, hopefully it's winding down. But we saw a lot of people getting really creative, a lot of cities getting creative with stuff for people to do. What are the things that in your areas basically people were doing just to get people active, just to go outside, but in a safe manner?
So what always interested me was the neighborhoods that we build here. There's a lot of regulation. There's a lot of situations where they have what they call like a traditional neighborhood design, like overlay, where the county's basically telling you you've got to have porches and you got to have this much open space and you've got to have walking trails. So you'll have developments where they'll say, okay, we're going to do 100 acres of development and 200 acres of conservation, right? And a lot of places it's like 200 acres of development and 50 acres of conservation, right? We're big on conservation here. So they'll put these walking trails around these things and pools, and people come in and say, well, there's going to be 300 homes in this neighborhood. This pool's never going to be big enough. And the pools are always big enough because no one ever came to the pool. So now what we see is people using the playgrounds, the walking trails, the tennis courts, all these different things. That's what I've noticed is people using both the infrastructure that's in some of these like named neighborhoods, like the Reserve at whatever type neighborhoods. And they're also using our parks. I was talking to a friend that was a park ranger, and he's saying, hey, the parks are getting beat up and they're starting to have some litter problems and some, problems of things being worn out and used in trails.
So people are abusing the park.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the sheer traffic. It's just sheer traffic. Like they've hired extra rangers and stuff. So for us, Pennsylvania was one of the highest lockdown states. We couldn't do real estate, we couldn't do anything. So people were going out in the late spring and summer, and they were, just using the parks and the walking trails and all the things that they've kind of, ignored, if you will, which I think is pretty typical.
All right. Dean, you have any other questions?
No, now I'm wanting to go to Pennsylvania and check it out, though. I'll tell you that.
All right. If you can't tell between the two of us, Dean's the one that always has the travel bug. He always wants to try different places and visit different places. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot. We talked about sports. We talked about everything except for one thing, which is my favorite. And Dean, I know this is your favorite. Food. All right. What is Philly known for besides Philly steaks?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about those.
I never forget food.
I have to tell you, we have wonderful Italian food. I mean, South Philadelphia Italians have been huge in South Philadelphia for years. We really do have a great food culture in Philadelphia, and everybody just talks about the cheesesteak and they forget about, the great restaurants we have downtown, the great inns. So if you're going out to I can go right up the road right now and I can go eat at an inn that's been there for 200 and some years, that revolutionary figures have eaten in and battles have been around and stuff. So we really do have good food here from everything, on out. Anything you can think of, whether it's French cuisine or Italian, anything is in Philadelphia. It's a really great place. And we are more than just a cheesesteak. But I will tell you that the cheesesteak.
More than a cheesesteak. I'm sorry, that sounded funny.
You can't eat a cheesesteak anywhere else. I mean, I just kind of chuckle. I'm just like,
no, you know what? I've gotten them in Boston. I've gotten them in New York. They're not the same. I've had them in Philly, and they're not the same.
It's kind of like over here when we have New York pizza. You can have pizza everywhere else, but it's not New York pizza. It's kind of the same thing with Philly, basically. You can't have cheesesteak and it has to be from
Steak
Philly,
stuff,
or
you call
it
them
just
hoagies.
is not considered cheesecake.
Wait,
I keep
are
saying
they
cheesecake.
hoagies or subs there?
Yeah, we have hoagies here. We have hoagies here. No subs. So you go to
Subs
Jersey
to Boston.
grinder.
What are the two big places for the cheesesteaks? I can't remember the names.
Geno's and Pat's. Geno's and
Okay.
Pat's. Some people throw in D'Alessandro's.
All right,
Jim's.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Mhm.
Out of the ones you just mentioned, which one's your favorite?
I like Jim's. I like
Jim's?
Jim's. They're a little extra rude there, I think, in the line. But you know what's great about Jim's? Jim's is on South Street. What's great about Jim's, you walk in and there's all these pictures of famous people that have been there and they signed and stuff. So you're sitting there and they have this upstairs area and you're sitting there and you're just looking at all these things. So I'm a big fan of Jim's, but you know, you can get a good cheesesteak pretty much. And we're in the suburbs, so we have to go downtown to get that. But the key is the roll. You got to have an Amoroso roll.
Amoroso roll. Okay, that's duly noted. Got it in my. All right. So if anybody wants to get a Philly cheesesteak or they want to get an Amoroso roll, how can they reach you? Besides that, and they want to move over there and live there permanently.
Well, they can go to kirksimmon.com, which is KirkSimmon.com, or they can go to Real Estate Kirk on YouTube. They can text me at 484-880-2388. Kirk at kirksimmon.com. I mean, Google me, send me a smoke signal.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I'm available. I'm a real estate agent. So I said, well, Kirk, I lost your phone number. I said, well, just go to Google. You know, we're real estate
Google
agents.
me. You'll find my info. All right. So if anybody's leaving New York, they want to sell their property here in New York, and they're like, you know what Kirk just said, I love that area. I love everything he has to say. I want to leave here, sell my property here, and move over there. Dean, how can they reach us?
I can call or text me at 516-527-9549. And Evans?
I am 917-975-5985. And my email address is my first name, evantz@yahoo.com.
And
Dean, hit them with the website.
Our website is www.mynyhomesales.com.
One more time, Dean.
mynyhomesales.com.
All right, as you can see, we got the holiday spirit here. Dean's got the Christmas tree in the background. We're working hard basically for you. Anything you need, whether it's buying, selling, or investing in real estate, give either myself, Dean, or Kirk a call. I want to say thank you, Kirk, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Kirk?
And I need to hear you say "Let's go Yankees" one more time.
What? I can't hear.
What? Let's go Yankees. I heard you say it.
Do you guys want to see the ball? I have the 56 Yankees ball. I can put that on the screen for you.
Yes, please do. All right. While we're having fun, but we do work hard and we work hard for you guys. So again, if you're interested in moving, buying, selling, or investing in real estate, give us a call. We can help you. And I want to say also like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And that's pretty much it. Happy holidays to everybody.